go.
My name is Bob Leyba, and good morning. I'm here with Toyota Material Handling, and we're here to recommend or display the method of doing a pre-shift inspection on your forklift. And we're going to start over here on this side and try working in a clockwise direction. So let's start over here with the overhead guard. You want to make sure the overhead guard doesn't have any broken welds in this area or any of the areas where the welds come together. Make sure that it hasn't been impacted. Any kind of damage to the overhead guard is critical. To make sure you report it to us if you see anything. Make sure your handles, your grab handles are secure. Mirrors are in place. Your fire extinguisher is in place, and also that the meter on it is reading that it is active and in good shape. Seat belt is operational. And make sure that your tires are not damaged. You see visibly, if you can see that the lug nuts are all in place. Every one is in place and stuff. But make sure your tires don't get down less than an inch and a quarter on the back of the steel on these things. And also make sure your lights, brackets, and all your brackets and support brackets are all secured to the overhead guard and not loose. Over here, check your mast as you go around your carriage. Make sure that everything is looks in order over here. Your hoses aren't damaged, and the rubber aspect of it could be scraped slightly, but make sure that the steel braiding isn't impaired. Check your chains. Make sure the chains are taut, or at least that they're equally taut if it's on the ground. You can raise it slightly, and then everything should be tight. You'll make sure that there's no grinding going on in the mast area as the carriage goes up and down, or the rails run up and down against each other. That this hasn't been bent backwards and is rubbing on these hoses and damaging the hose. Also check the hosing on the sides here as you come over here. Make sure that they're all secured properly and chains are anchored properly. Down in here, that you can check your tilt cylinder. Make sure you don't see any leaks down in this area. Then you come to this side, check your brackets again. Make sure everything is supported properly. Your lug nuts, your wheels, your tires. Make sure everything is in order in your tires. You're going to go through the same procedure over here. Check all your welds on your overhead guard. Check for impact. Make sure this isn't coming loose. This is one aspect that tends to work loose for some reason. Make sure it's in place. It's a pre-cleaner. Back here, make sure we have all our lights in place, brackets on the lights in place. Open up your LPG tank. Make sure that it's working properly and smoothly. Your coupler is tight on the LPG tank. Check the welds on the supports for this. Make sure that they're not loose. Come down here. We have a counterweight bolt that sits back in here a ways. Make sure there's a washer that's spaced between the bolt and the counterweight. Make sure that it doesn't spin. That'll tell you if that bolt is loose or not, so we want to make sure that bolt is not loose. Also, make sure that's in place. Your radiator, look at it, make sure it's clean, and also look down as far as you can downwards and look for any leaks that might be in that radiator. There'll be some grungy debris gathering on your leaking spots typically. So look in there, make sure there's nothing that's real visible for leaks. But you're down here. Also, you can look down underneath the forklift and see if you see any visible leaks. Do it on this side and on from the back, and then also do it from the side. Back over here. And then also one more time, when you're down here, take a look underneath and make sure you don't see any visible leaks underneath the forklift. Okay, I think that covers most of this outside. Just take a good visual look at it. Before we open up the hood, you want to open up this access panel over here. You want to clean this screen. You can pull the screen out, and you can usually clean this out with a rag. Usually clean up good enough, or make sure there's no debris stuck on it. It really impairs the operation of the radiator and the fan, the cooling system. Check the radiator level, but make sure that the forklift isn't overheated or very hot, so you don't burn yourself. Check the level of the radiator fluid in here. Okay, we'll go down here. You're going to check all your fluid levels. You're going to start over here with your brake fluid. Make sure there's plenty of brake fluid in there. Take the cap off. Pull this little cap off there and make sure that fluid is full, and also that it looks a fairly clear color still. It's not all black and used up. Battery. Make sure that they're not all corroded, and that they're secure, they're tight. Come over here, your fan, kind of pull on it, make sure it's not loose. If it's loose, if you can spin it very freely without any resistance, this belt is probably loose. It is loose. And also check the belt, rub the bottom end of the belt, make sure it's rough at all. It should be smooth. If it's rough, it should be replaced. And make sure none of the fan blades are broken on the fan. On this side, and then make sure that there's no oil leaks, and you'll see the oil leaks where there are, because here on top of the transmission you'll see some gathering of dust and stuff. If you see something and you're concerned about it, let the technician know. This is a dipstick, oil dipstick. Check the oil level on it. Make sure that you have proper level. Second little dot on here. Okay, going around the other side. You have the transmission. You check the transmission also. Make sure the color of the transmission fluid is still nice and clear. It's red, but it's clear. It's not it looks like motor oil. Also, you check this with the engine stopped, but after you've run the forklift for a while. And then you have your